good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where in the world you're joining us from. Hello, my name is Rosalie Olmsted. I am the Strategic Partner Coordinator here at Women in Cybersecurity. We often go by our acronym WESIS because that is exactly what we are, a global cyber sisterhood. It's a pleasure to have you all here today with WESIS Strategic Partner LinkedIn. But before I pass it over to our incredible panelists and presenters, I'd like to give you a brief overview of the WESIS organization. WESIS is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with a mission to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity. Our community is made up of over 11,000 members in 107 different countries. We have 68 professional affiliates and 321 student chapters around the world. We offer a range of initiatives throughout the year, including our monthly newsletter, our annual conference, which will be taking place March 11th through the 13th, 2026 in National Harbor, Maryland. And additionally, all open job openings through WESIS Strategic Partners can be found on our Job Board Plus year-round. Currently, we have applications and programs open for individuals at all career levels. Our current programs that have applications open are our book club, which will be coming up in December, the Vulnerability Disclosure Program, and our Executive Leaders Network. To learn more about any of our WESIS programming efforts, you can find it at wesis.org in the Program tab. I want to take a moment to thank all of the strategic partners that fund our organization year-round. Our Tier 1 partners being 3M, Akamai, Amazon, Bloomberg, Cisco, Ford, Google, Lockheed Martin, Optum, Palo Alto Networks, SANS, and SentinelOne. Please feel free to ask questions throughout today's presentation and type them in the question box below. There's going to be a specific time where they're going to address during the Q&A session, but we'll be keeping an eye out throughout the entire presentation. And lastly, if you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to the WESIS newsletter to stay up to date on all of our upcoming events and programs throughout the year. You can find it at wesis.org in the upper right-hand corner. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Shefali at LinkedIn.
Thank you, Rosalie. So hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining here today. My name is Shefali, a third-party security analyst at LinkedIn, and we'll talk about a topic which is on everyone's mind these days, AI. Yes, you got that right. And we are joined by an amazing panel from LinkedIn to discuss securing AI, keeping promises, blocking threats, and building smart. So AI is accelerating everything from innovation to attacks. At LinkedIn, AI is now woven into every part of the experience, from how professionals find jobs and learn new skills, to how businesses recruit, sell, and market. So let's hear some examples. For our members, we have introduced innovations like AI-powered job search, profile writing assistants, realistic role-play simulations that help people with their interviews and leadership conversations. On the other side, for organizations, AI is transforming recruiting, sales, marketing through tools like LinkedIn's new hiring assistant, Account IQ, AI-driven campaign optimization. To learn more how LinkedIn is investing into AI, you can check out our blog at linkedin.com/blog/engineering and navigate to the AI section. But while AI unlocks incredible opportunities, it also introduces new risks and responsibilities. That is why LinkedIn continues to heavily invest in protecting our employees and members, ensuring that we innovate with AI, but we also safeguard trust and integrity at every level. So today we'll explore how women in cybersecurity are leading the way, shaping AI security strategies that prevent attacks, uphold trust, and simplify secure development at scale. Please note, as Rosalie mentioned, if time permits, we will have the Q&A segment open to the audience. So please make sure you drop your questions in the Ask the Question box that you see on your screen. So yeah, let's start with introductions. Chitali, I'm going to start with you. So if you can tell me a little bit more about yourself, your role at LinkedIn, and one way that AI has transformed your personal and professional life.
All right. Thanks, Shefali, for that lovely introduction. So, myself is Chaitali Parmar. I'm part of LinkedIn's third-party security team. I work day to day on third-party security reviews for all the technologies that are brought into LinkedIn. That's my role at LinkedIn. I've been around for 5 years here, and it has been an incredible journey, and it is still learning with all these new innovations that are coming in. So, really, really thriving here. Um, to the second part of the question, where you mentioned my use of AI, right? Like, yes, I am slowly, steadily, fast adopting to this technology. It has been my co-pilot, and I use it on my day-to-day basis for like an assistant. It helps me to be reviewing my suppliers that we did day in and day out are reviewing, in terms of like, hey, what technologies are they using behind the scene, learn more about their use cases, and help the business drive the use case of those suppliers in a more secure fashion. So that's me. With that, I'll pass it on to Mira.
Hi everyone, I am Meera from Product and Platform Security team at LinkedIn. I have been here for at LinkedIn for over like 9 years now, and our team primarily focuses on ensuring that security is built into our software development process right from day one. Across every product and every layer of our platform, right? And we also manage. PCERT, which is our product security incident response. And we lead a few key security investments in terms of engineering in areas such as static analysis, dynamic analysis, third party library scanning, to name a few. So, that pretty much sums up what I do at LinkedIn. And I'm super excited to be part of this panel. And I look forward to an engaging discussion. So, with that, I'll pass the baton to Priya.
Thank you, Meera. Hi, everyone. I am Priya and I lead the engineering compliance team at LinkedIn under the InfoSec organization. My team sits at the intersection of technology, risk, and regulations, where we are reimagining how compliance can be engineered, scaled, and automated across complex systems. Over the years, I have worked on unifying many fragmented compliance programs, from SOX to all the way to the recent regulations that have come, including ISO SOC as well. Our mission is to make compliance a natural part of building trustworthy systems. One way AI has changed my professional life is by transforming how we think about compliance itself and security. From being reactive or document heavy to building smart systems that have compliance and security built by design into systems and products that we build. AI has made it possible to automate evidence collection, detect risk or threat patterns earlier, and focus human effort on strategic rather than repetitive tasks. Beyond compliance, I'm passionate about building diverse teams, mentoring women in tech compliance and security, driving a culture where security and compliance is not just a checkbox but a design principle. So I'm thrilled to be here with fellow women in cybersecurity to share how engineering led security and compliance is shaping the future of trust in technology. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for all the beautiful introductions. So yeah, let's deep dive into some of the amazing topics we have. Let's get some understanding about AI compliance in general. So Priya, can you tell our audience about legislations like the AI Act?
Sure. So AI compliance at the base, at the foundation, it ensures that AI systems are designed, developed, and monitored in accordance with various legal, ethical, and technical standards. It spans across various landscapes like privacy, security, fairness, transparency, and covers many obligations as well, like GDPR or emerging frameworks. At large, the EU AI Act is the most comprehensive law to regulate AI systems. It generally takes a risk based approach. The higher the potential impact on people's rights or safety, stricter the rules. The Act bans harmful uses like social scoring, strong obligations on high risk systems, etc. At its core, AI Act is about trust and it aims to ensure that innovation goes hand in hand with oversight, fairness, and safety.
Great. So now we have a little context on this. Can you also share how LinkedIn is handling this legislation, the AI Act?
Sure. So at LinkedIn, trust is our foundation. As a company, we think of our members first. We build secure, compliant infrastructure with integrity woven into every layer. Keeping the promises with AI across the industry means embedding trust, security, and compliance into every stage of the AI lifecycle. So we have considered the Act as well as various standards and frameworks for AI security to identify best practices across the board for AI. These help us to build trusted AI while balancing innovation with governance oversight and risk management. Cross functional collaboration across engineering, product, legal, content strategy, and various other teams is key to meeting these evolving requirements.
Great. I'm pretty sure there must be some challenges. So, what are the industry challenges around this AI Act?
Sure. And as you are right, across the industry, there are common challenges that we are seeing. Several interconnected ones, like evolving regulatory requirements. These are new laws, so the guidance, the standards, and the implementation acts are still being published and matured. And organizations are also navigating this while the text is being refined. Some of the regulations introduce new concepts as well, like general purpose AI obligations, high risk AI obligations. And these are not uniform definitions across the industry yet. So this ambiguity complicates translating the mandates into concrete engineering design principles. Also, there is complication of compliance across the risk tiers. There are regulations and obligations by risk tiers. So, how do we? It also becomes an operational lift for many organizations. So, that is one other industry wide challenge that is there. Technical standards is also another one. Like harmonized technical standards are still evolving. So, businesses face ambiguity about what is the best practice, making it harder to invest confidently in some of the infra. So, these are some of the high level challenges that the industry is facing: evolving requirements, complexity across risk tiers, and not having harmonized standards across the industry, to name the top few that we have been seeing.
Got it. So now, the challenges that we discussed, this makes me think of my next question, which is what work streams are in place to support readiness and ongoing AI security? Mira, would you like to talk about that?
Absolutely. So I primarily want to touch upon like two core work streams, especially in like my line of work. One is the security by design for AI systems and securing AI supply chain, right? That encompasses models, underlying data, and the third-party integrations that there are. So primarily AI systems introduce like new risks, including like, model manipulation or data poisoning, insecure prompt flows, and having that dependency on external models or agents also is a big risk, right? So unlike the traditional software that we have, AI behaves probabilistically, right? So and it often depends on like the underlying models that we have, what data sets are being leveraged to train the models, and the third party services, right? Like obviously a lot of people are attempting to use third party services as well that are being offered, right? So and all of those are something that we fully don't have control over. So what we do is our goal is to make sure that the AI system, whether it is like internally trained or having those approved external providers that we have, is always secure. And we also want to make sure that we have observability and meets our standards for product and platform security, right? So that's the focus that we have. And one of the main things that we attempted to do, or we attempt to do here, is like extending the existing SDLC process that we have for all the AI systems, right? With the new risk that we have, everything that we want to do, we want to ensure that we have everything done as we do with our existing SDLC patterns that we have. So what that means is we are doing early design reviews, threat modeling, introducing any secure patterns that can be reusable artifacts for folks who are trying to do the same thing, right? So not all developers need to reinvent the wheel. And also, like, ensuring that we do regular pen testing, ensuring that everything that we ship is secure, including the code, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing that I want to touch upon is essentially the prevention and detection automation that we have in place. So ensuring that our AI coding patterns that we have, we are able to identify those through our static analysis and dynamic analysis. A simple example would be like, if there's any unsafe use of LangChain, right? And then another focus that we have done in terms of prevention is providing extensive documentation through engineering guidelines. So if we see that there is a common pattern, for example, like someone wants to use a particular model, then how do you want to use it, and what kind of data do you want to use underlying that? So all of those, we have identified certain common implementation patterns, and we have provided engineering guidelines for those. The third thing is, having a governance layer, I feel, is extremely important, because AI is, touching every single thing, like, product security, infrastructure, enterprise, third party. There's so many, and compliance as well, right? There's so many like layers to it that, it is essential to have a security working group. And so the central forum is actually, setting AI security standards that we have, and reviews like new AI features, connects everything, that platform, product, and engineering, including like compliance. All of those come together to form this AI working group. So yeah, like those are some of the things that I wanted to touch up on. And essentially, like, one good example on how you want to integrate into like the secure SDLC would be, if someone wants to launch an AI feature, then we want to do the design review, which automatically gets flagged in our system, whether it is high risk or not, based on the data that is provided, right? For example, the underlying model, or what is the data sensitivity, and things like that. And security partners get involved early on to run threat model, or enforcing the secure architecture patterns that I've called out earlier, and ensuring that the secure implementation is reviewed before any code ships that we have. So yeah, that's pretty much about the SDLC. And so yeah, so Shefali, ultimately, I think our goal is to keep it simple, build secure AI by design, so teams can innovate confidently and responsibly.
No, love that secure AI by design and how you guys have included all this as part of the SDLC workflow. So this is really amazing stuff that we do internally, but we're also seeing a lot of third-party tools, AI tools, right? So how are we protecting ourselves and the company here? Chitali, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, and that's an interesting one. So you see, if the how the model works over here is our team is at the center of like facing the business when they bring in new technologies, and we are also partnering with our infosec team. So within our third party security world, when we want to empower our engineers and all the line of businesses with all this technology boom, which is out there with AI, we want to empower them to automate and innovate. So how has our function been empowering these business users to ensure that they are using these third parties, but more in like a secure and secure manner? And to all the points that Priya and Mira just spoke about, we ensure that or any third party that is being reviewed or being like brought into our world of LinkedIn, we want to ensure that they are trusted. And to ensure that the third parties are trusted, what we have done internally is we have incorporated like risk tiering, including like having AI questionnaires being sent out to the suppliers. We want to ensure that there is enough trust to whatever data we are providing them, or if they are integrating with our solutions, we want to ensure that they have gone through all the rightful design checks. And not only that, we this is the pre onboarding of the supplier, but we also have processes in place to ensure that their threat models, if they are integrating with our technologies, their threat models. We have the AI working group, which Mira just called about, so that we are discussing this while the supplier is in the discussion with our business partners. So we have a lot of collaborations internally to ensure that the technologies that are using AI models or AI features, we want to ensure they are risk ranked appropriately, they are configured in an appropriate manner while they are being tested upon. We want to ensure that the environment in which they are running is also like rightfully configured, so that the engineers and the business leaders can test it while they want to innovate. So we have done a lot internally to ensure that LinkedIn, whenever they bring in a third party, they are secure guardrails, policies, and governance in place for them to experiment and innovate. And not only that, in our processes as well, we have ensured that we are scaling to meet the new enhancement in the technology by ensuring like are there automation opportunities for our third party security program, because we review these suppliers on a day-to-day basis and the volume of these is growing, looking at how the industry is growing with AI. So we want to ensure that we are empowered our teams to make sure that they are using workflows or automation capabilities wherever possible to ensure that we are also capable to digest the volume of suppliers that we are seeing in our space. That's what we have done internally.
No, great. And in adding to what Chitali said, right, in terms of AI, one of the first thing we did was we developed an AI security questionnaire for the third parties because we want to see what kind of AI data handling practices they have and do they have responsible AI principles. Internally, we also partnered with our procurement and legal teams to streamline on how we evaluate to onboard the third party AI tools. So, and we also published clear guidelines for our employees around third-party AI tools usage. So this ensures that we can adopt newer technologies faster, but still within a secure and compliant framework. This topic actually leads me to my next question, which is how are we empowering employees to use AI for productivity or development? And what are some of the security risks we are facing here? Chitali and Mira, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I can start with that. So yes, we are we are seeing a lot of excitement in our developer communities to use a lot of AI tools. Recently, just to give you an example, we reviewed like a lot of vibe coding tools. We reviewed like a lot of video avatar tools. Just and those are very interesting use cases as well, like in terms of how they want to use these AI tools within LinkedIn. So we want to make sure like we have empowered the employees with the rightful policies and guardrails, and ensure that the configurations of these tools are appropriate to our business model. So a lot of documentations have been created and provided to the developers by our partner teams. We have the governance model as well to ensure that the tools that they are using are secure, plus they have the rightful um, accountability on them in terms of the trust that we have on those products, plus uh, whatever Mira mentioned. So Mira and Priya mentioned around having governance models in place in terms of when they are using these tools. So we are not working in silos, but we are also collaborating with the business partners heavily to ensure that security is partnering with them in terms of using these models. So models plus the AI tools, I would say, and they are deployed in a secure manner. Now, coming to the risk, right? Like, so AI has their risk in itself, and I think Priya had a good initial round of talks that she mentioned around the people looking at it and building regulations around how to ensure that this is secure. So some of the risks are like based on how the model is trained or how what data it is trained on, there could be some risk around data leakage, or the model throwing out some uh, data around which is incorrect in terms of the prompts as well, like how a user, because anybody over here can put a prompt to an AI model and it could throw out some results. and we never know without knowing the actual data that is trained on, what is it right or wrong. So there are a lot of discussions around in the industry in terms of the risk around using AI technologies and how the results come out of it. So it's still a domain of debate, always, that what the models give out. So in general, there are like industry-wide risk that could be like data leakages, bias or ethical usage of AI. So with that, like in LinkedIn, we are making sure that we have the rightful governance structures in place, and InfoSec is partnering across the board to ensure that all the technologies, even the third party technologies that are brought in, we have the trust within those suppliers, and only work with approved models. And that's what we are doing internally. Mira, you want to add to that?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, right, the goal here for us is to make sure that we want employees to take full advantage of AI, right, to be more productive, but in a way that protects our members, member data, and infrastructure. So from an infrastructure and enterprise standpoint, we provide employees with approved AI tools that run inside our LinkedIn environment itself, right? So that means if employees use AI to summarize docs or generate content or explore any prototypes, all of that happens within our managed infrastructure and not in like public AI tools, right? So this lets us apply the same set of controls that we have already. We apply to our sensitive systems, and so we have like data loss prevention, access control, monitoring, logging. Everything comes in as well with this approach. And from a product and platform security perspective, our goal is to build guardrails directly into how employees interact with AI, right? So we define what's allowed, what's restricted, and we provide prescriptive patterns through documentation and developer guidelines. And we also surface tooling into our SDLC that can detect risky patterns, right? Such as like, any credentials that are exposed or any proprietary data that is being exposed in the prompt. So things like that. So, in a nutshell, we empower employees to use AI, but always within guardrails that protect our data, our members, and our business.
Great. Awesome. Now that we covered about the development, I think there's another question on that is if you can tell me a bit more about how a developer at LinkedIn would go about using a new model or developing an AI powered feature. And I know this is something that top of mind for every developer. Meera and Priya, you want to share your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So I think when a developer at LinkedIn wants to use a new model or build an AI-powered feature, we give them a paved, guided path, right? So they can innovate quickly, and security and trust comes along automatically. So developers start in one of our internal AI platforms, like if they want to agentic platforms or model systems that model management systems that we have. These platforms are actually abstracting away the complexities of using models or prompt orchestration or data controls and logging, all of that. And so the infrastructure already we attempt to has guardrails, right? So credential isolation or rate limiting, any PII that's being in there, so output filtering, so things like that. We don't have to reinvent security, but they're already baked in, right? And secondly, any new features that's touching like generative AI or member data or could influence like user facing decisions, right? They always go through our standardized review and launch process. And so this includes like legal, privacy, trust, and security. Everyone comes together, and we actually are involved in the standard review process that we have. And so AI is not treated any differently here, right? So everything is involved with AI also goes through this. And thirdly, the security working group that we have, right? It provides governance and guidance. So we maintain reference architectures, ensure that prompt safety patterns are followed, and also like developer playbooks that we have, right? They're always up to date. And so developers don't actually need to guess what secure looks like, but we give them secure templates and automation. So yeah, I mean, this helps reduce friction, and increases developer productivity, right? So what we are trying to achieve here is like developers are able to ship AI features faster, but they don't need to build security and compliance from scratch, right? And we protect member trust by ensuring models only access data they're allowed to see, and outputs are monitored and auditable. And lastly, scaling innovation, right? Like multiple product teams can build a common secure infrastructure instead of reinventing the wheel. So in a nutshell, we want to make sure that developers move fast, and security is scaling automatically, and we maintain member trust at every step.
Priya, would you like to add your thoughts to this question?
Sure, Shefali. Very much in line with what Mira is saying. And security and compliance, we work together on solving many of these problems. And in the same line, we don't want productivity to be impacted. So it is how do we embed this in their day-to-day infrastructure that can be used for ensuring compliance while developing new models. At large, the development work follows a responsible collaborative process when working with new AI models or building new AI powered features. In line with what Mira was also saying, like the first thing is developers start thinking about the problem, define the problem, ensuring it has measurable goals, and then if models are evaluated, AI models, a- and responsible AI principles guide the selection with attention to all the requirements from compliance perspective as well. And then when the chosen model is integrated into the development lifecycle, it goes through the workflow infrastructure that has been built for development. That way, it becomes a template, and people don't have to think about what extra steps need to be done for security or compliance. Any requirements are embedded in that workflow itself. So developers for those steps collaborate with across teams like product, legal, compliance, security to ensure requirements are considered as and when they have questions, and it's embedded. There is rigorous testing to validate the outputs and all the requirements from compliance security perspective. And beyond the validation, like there is continuous monitoring as well in place and reviews as needed. So at large, there are to Mira's point about security working groups, there are secure compliance working groups as well for all the governance accountability to be done together. There is designated on ownership for the ongoing security and compliance incidents, documentation, all the required steps that need to be happen. So all of this together helps us be member first and ensure we can scale what is needed for AI security and compliance.
No, great, great that we always prioritize members first. So yeah, I think this was a great discussion. We covered the AI acts, secure development of AI tools, features, third-party AI tools usage. So a huge shout out to our panelists for sharing their insights on these topics. Do you have a final key takeaway for our audience? Shatali, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, so I would definitely encourage people to adopt to using AI, but in a responsible manner. That would be my key takeaway for the audience here.
Mira?
Awesome. So I think AI for us is like changing how we build these days, right? So, but the core principles don't necessarily change. So, protecting our members, protecting data, and making secure development would be the easiest path here. So, if we get the security right from the start, then we would unlock the full potential of AI, and not just for our products, but also for people here, right? So, yeah.
Sounds good. Priya? I think I'm not able to hear you.
Okay. So overall, AI and the new advancement not change our fundamentals that we have of member and customer trust being at the forefront for anything that we do. So the human element is really important here to ensure the content is safeguarded, our members are safeguarded, and there is right level of scrutiny from a human perspective, no matter what we use AI for. So we live by the principle, and member and customer trust is first for us.
Awesome. So the keywords I heard was responsible AI, secure development, and member customer trust. I'm gonna take these takeaways with me for sure. I hope the audience is gonna do that as well. So this concludes our panel discussion on securing AI. So thank you everyone who joined today, and also to Women in Cybersecurity for having us. We do have some time left, so we can use this time to answer some of the questions which are posted on the chat. So let me jump into that, and then our panelists can answer those questions. All right. So we have a question on EU standard, Priya. How does the AI Act compare to the standards in the EU? They seem to be the first to implement a standard framework for AI.
So, in general, there are various standards. Like EU AI Act is, of course, the first one, but there are other standards also that have been developed, like the Singapore standards, NIST framework is there. There are other local laws as well. So, all of them have common denominators of looking at it from a risk steering perspective and looking at system evaluation, model evaluation. So across the board, there are common denominators that we can find to build our own best practices, and there are also every company's responsible AI guidelines that are being developed across the industry. So all of those different guidelines, we have looked at it together, and all of those help us build the common principles that are needed across the board.
Got it. Okay, thank you so much. Shatali, there's a question. What are some of the most critical security risks you see with suppliers?
Yeah, I just try to respond offline as well. So this is so the question is pretty broad in terms of what could be some critical risks that we see in our supplier world. That totally depends on the risk that it brings into LinkedIn. But in general, if you ask me very specifically on the AI side, and we spoke about it during the panel as well, like some of the risk of this AI world could be like prompt ingestions. How are they making sure that they are seeing the outputs are validated for the prompts that are being seen. So, from supplier side of things, we want to ensure that they have a rigorous process in place on the AI security front, and we do see like that being one of the critical risk across the industry, that we want to ensure that these models are trained on, not training on our data kind of thing, and we ensure that they, if there are any features that the tool is providing, those are turned off when we are deploying these products in our environment. So that is very specific on the AI side. I have answered it in that manner, but if you have any specific question that you want to dive deeper, that please post it. Thank you.
Great, thank you for covering that. Mira, there's a question that do you have any further advice or resources for students who do not have protocols to follow to be as secure as possible regarding AI?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the key thing here is like security is a mindset, right? Like that is what we need to build upon here. And so the first thing I would do is like, start treating AI tools just the same way as you would treat any other external service on the internet, right? So not copy pasting, sensitive data into them. You never know where that ends up, right? So whether it is credentials or any internal documents or anything as such, we need to be like careful about them, right? So essentially practicing like skepticism about like wherever we use AI, that's something that I would always make sure we want to validate where we are using. And the third thing would be to get familiar with like the AI development basics here, right? Like whatever, whether it is threat modeling or dependency scanning or supply chain hygiene, all of these are like newer topics, right? So as we see, like there are a lot of resources that are coming up, and some of the things like OWASP top 10 for LLMs, all of those things would be like good resources for us to constantly keep updating ourselves with like AI security. So yeah, like having to keep continuously learning is another thing I would say. So yeah.
Great. Another question for you, Mira. Have you seen risk associated with prompt injection? How do you sanitize inputs to prevent this risk?
I think like if I mean prompt injection is like pretty common that we see if for any generative AI that we have it for like users and all of that. So one way to like sort of mitigate that is at we sort of have protections at the platform level itself. So unauthorized agents can't talk to each other and all of that, and also like having to have that as I mentioned earlier about like having those secure patterns that we provide. So those are some things that we have doubled down on. So yeah, we don't see we do have like some reasonable way to tackle that. So yeah.
Okay, good. This is a general question for all of you. How can recent graduates sharpen their skills and learn about AI while being cybersecurity professionals?
I can take that, and probably then whoever wants to chime in, definitely hop on. So, yeah, the question says, how can a recent graduate sharpen their skills and learn about AI while being in cybersecurity? So, I would say there are new courses coming in, and I would also pipe in one of the recent announcement that I saw on LinkedIn Learning with Hackathon, something like that, has been published on our learning platform as well. So yeah, leverage a lot of these webinars like these, plus take on some lab courses that would help you to explore and experiment with these models, so you learn while you are also working, or maybe just being as a student, you are able to experiment with these models. That would give you like hands-on ability to experiment with the AI technologies that are there. And depending on what you want to learn, I think there are different avenues out there where you can get onboarded and perform your learning journey, or go on your learning journey there. Anybody, Mira or Priya, you want to add to that? Even
Uh,
Shafal, yeah.
Yeah, I think like for me, a good start would be to like have the AI foundations, and there are quite a lot available already on YouTube and Coursera and a bunch of other things. And then OWASP would be another good resource as well for fundamentals, but at the same time, keeping up with like the latest security research and all of that is key, right? So for me, my favorite is like TLDR Sec, where like I sort of have everything that I can just go to with respect to like the latest AI research and all of that. So yeah, that would be something that I would recommend.
Yeah, and for like in general, learning about AI and all the technical skills, LinkedIn Learning itself is a great resource where there are a bunch of courses available. And to be informed about the regulatory world, like all the direct channels where the laws are published, like digital EU sources, those are best to keep up with how the act is changing, what are the new laws coming up, and in combination with all the AI fundamentals there, that gives you a good base for learning how the regulations are evolving, security challenges, as well as AI developments.
Yeah, yeah. I think what to adding to what you guys said, that there's so many courses and also YouTube videos. Just learn more about AI security in general, AI secure SDLC. What are the different type of AI tools out there in market? Understand their use cases too, and understand the different type of attacks associated with AI. So I think that will give you a good foundational baseline for this, and then of course you can explore more courses and lab works like Chatali mentioned. So great. I think this was a great question. We can move on to our next one. Thanks for the nice presentation. Thank you. What are the methodologies that you would recommend outside of SAST, TAST in SDLC process in securing apps specific to AI? Mira, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I can take this one. So I think like apart from having automation built in, it's also really important to double down on our efforts in early on the SDLC process itself, right? So working with the developers on what they're trying to build, how they're trying to build, and helping them, in each and every step of the development process is quite critical, I would say. And for us, that has been hugely helpful in making sure that we ship out secure products across to our members.
Okay, sounds good. There's a question on AI models. How do you account for performance variations across different AI models, or do you stick with suppliers who use particular AI models? I think it talks about what are the underlying AI models, are being used. So, Chitali, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so and that's a very good question as well. So when we did the initial governance design or the policy design that we have published within LinkedIn, we wanted to ensure that we approve the rightful models. So that's where we started with, in terms of having very specific models being approved only for our internal employees, and we started with the governance of that in terms of how these models are working, tested them out, and ensured that they are appropriate for our business model. So yes, I would say like uh, we wanted to ensure that certain approved models, which we of course cannot disclose over here, but those are the only ones that we use as part of our LinkedIn world.
Sounds good. I think we have covered most of the questions that were. I think this was a good Q&A segment for sure. Yeah, I believe I'm just checking if there's anything. Oh, this is a good one. What is the best source for tech news that someone can use to keep themselves busy or informed on AI or anything tech field? So any sort of newsletters or, any, public channels or so, any recommendations for the viewers here?
One thing is, go to VCs, subscribe to the newsletter and everything. You get everything. And then the second one I wanted to also, like, personally, I have subscribed to that as well, as the SANS. If anybody over here knows about the SANS Institute and what they do about it. So for specifically for security feeds and what you want to, if you want to keep yourself updated about all the regulations, everything, I would recommend that as one of the newsletters that I feel like personally it has helped me to keep updated.
No, absolutely. Great. We have Rosalie back. So yeah, over to you, Rosalie.
Thank you, Shefali, and all of our incredible presenters. Appreciate your time today and providing resources and your viewpoint on AI. It has been a hot topic in the news and all over. So we appreciate your expertise and what LinkedIn's doing to address it. So thank you all. I appreciate it. Viewers, thank you for joining us today. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your Thursday. And thank you again for joining. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Have a good one.